Mr. President.
Senator from Wisconsin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Much attention has appropriately been focused upon our next 36 hours in the Congress. A lot of attention, again, appropriately focused on whether there would be a government shutdown for failure to pass a continuing resolution. And now we believe that that is hopefully going to be avoided. But in just under 36 hours, there are a number of other vital programs that will expire or lapse or sunset if this Congress does not take appropriate action. And I am here to join my colleagues, Senator Collins and in a moment Senator Ayotte, to call attention to one of those critical programs, one of those vital programs, and that is the Federal Perkins Loan Program, which the authorization of which will expire in less than 36 hours if we do not take collective action in this body. Mr. President, I am here today to call on our colleagues across the aisle to join me in supporting the extension of the Federal Perkins Loan Program. Now, already we've seen encouraging bipartisan support for the program here in the Senate. The presiding officer and Senator Collins, Senator Kirk, Senator Ayotte, and just today, Senator Thune have all joined me and more than 20 Democrats last week in introducing a resolution highlighting the importance of the Federal Perkins Loan Program and urging its extension. And yesterday, our colleagues in the House of Representatives unanimously passed a measure that would extend the program for 1 year. And I'm hoping that this body will do exactly the same. And while I look forward to a broader conversation about improving federal support for students as we look to reauthorize the Higher Education Act, we simply cannot sit idly by and watch the Perkins Loan Program expire as America's students are left with such uncertainty. Since 1958, the Federal Perkins Loan Program has been successful in helping Americans access affordable higher education with low-interest loans for students who cannot borrow or afford more expensive private student loans. In my home state of Wisconsin, the program provides more than 20,000 low-income students with more than $41 million in aid. But, Mr. President, the impact of this program isn't just isolated to the Badger State. In fact, the Federal Perkins Loan Program aids over 500,000 students with financial need each year across 1,500 institutions of higher education. The schools originate, service, and collect the fixed interest rate loans. And what's more, institutions maintain loans available for future students through a revolving fund. Since the program's creation, institutions have invested millions of dollars of their own funds into the program. And in addition to making higher education accessible for low-income students, the program serves as an incentive for people who wish to go into public service as careers by offering targeted loan cancellations for specific professions in areas of high national need, such as teaching and nursing and law enforcement. And Mr. President, as a member of the Senate Health Committee, Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, and as a United States Senator representing a state with a rich history of investment and cherishing of higher education, it is a top priority for me to fight to ensure the Federal Perkins Loan Program continues for generations to come. I'm fighting for students like Benjamin Wooten. Benjamin is a 2004 UW-Madison graduate and a small business owner from Genoa City in Wisconsin, whose family fell on hard times while he was doing his higher education. Ben shared with me, and I quote, "The fact that I did not have to pay interest while I was in school was a huge help to me. I was attending school full-time, working and trying to live on a meager budget. I am grateful, and I am a grateful and successful small business owner. I paid my loan off in full about a year ago with pride and excitement. I know that when I repaid my loan, it was returned to a revolving fund and will be lent back out to other students in need." Now, that's the end of Ben's quote, but I'm also fighting for students like Brittany McAdams. Brittany is a medical school student with a passion for pediatrics and helping the most vulnerable among us. Something that I would add doesn't always yield a significant paycheck, especially in comparison to some of her medical school peers. Brittany said, and I quote, "I want to be able to treat patients from all socioeconomic levels despite their ability to pay. In other words, I want to do important work for less money than most other physicians. The Perkins loan is so valuable because it does not collect interest while we are in school. To me, that says the government believes that what I am doing with my life is important, that our country needs more doctors willing to tackle primary care, that while we need to pay for our graduate degrees, that they are going to do their part to make it just a bit easier. The Perkins loan makes me feel valued and respected and even more passionate about my work." It's the end of that quote. And finally, I'm here today fighting for students like Nayeli Spar. Nayeli was raised by a single immigrant mother who worked 2 full-time jobs. She attended 10 different schools in 3 different states before she finished high school. Without the Federal Perkins Loan Program, Nayeli says that her opportunity to get a college education would have been, quote, "an illusory dream." Today, Nayeli is the first in her family to finish college and is now in her last year of medical school and is planning to work with those who are underserved in our urban communities. She finished by telling me, quote, "The Perkins Loan Program helped me reach this point, and its existence is essential to provide that opportunity for other young adults wanting to believe in themselves and to empower their communities to be better. Please save it," end quote. Mr. President, you don't have to look very far to find the significant impact of the Federal Perkins Loan Program, the significant impact that it has on America's students. There are thousands of stories like the few that I just shared, representing thousands and thousands of students who are still benefiting from the opportunities provided to them by this hugely successful program. Let's show the American people and the 500,000 students impacted by this program that we can come together, that we can find a bipartisan and common sense solution. Mr. President, I urge my colleagues to immediately take up and pass the House bill so that we can avoid another crisis of our own creation and put America's students and our nation's future first. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield back.